Hello everyone, Zach Barnes for the WT Sports Network welcoming you to this week's edition of Heard That and wishing you a happy March 1st. It's been an exciting week in Buff and Lady Buff sports filled with exciting games and even championships. Before we get going with our normal lineup, we'd like to wish a big WT welcome to Casey Shingler. Shingler is the new assistant volleyball coach for the Lady Buffs. So again, big welcome to you. This week we're going to change things up a little bit. We're going to start off with WT track this week as we found out some pretty exciting news yesterday. I'd like to recognize the 9 WT athletes that will be heading to the national championships next week. First off, over on the men's side, 3 athletes qualified for nationals. We're sending Stephen Cooper, who will be competing in the 200 meter. Owen Hind will be competing in the 3K and 5K. And Abraham Sinetke will be competing in the triple jump. On the women's side, 6 Lady Buffs qualified for the nationals. Kennedy Hudson will be competing in the 60 meter. Victoria Roush will be competing in the 60 meter hurdles. Relic Putin will be competing in the triple jump, long jump, and high jump. Malika Oedrago will be competing in the triple jump. Fatima Fessi will be competing in the triple jump and long jump. And finally, Norma Cunningham will be competing in the shot put. We'd like to wish those athletes the best of luck next week as they will head for Birmingham, Alabama next Tuesday and will start competing on Thursday. This last weekend, Buff and Lady Buff basketball back at home for the final time before heading to the conference tournament. On Thursday, Texas A&M Commerce came into the First United Bank Center where both Buff and Lady Buffs got big wins. Lady Buffs had a big night with a 79-51 win over the Lions as Sasha Watson, Madison Wild, Allie Decker, and Madison Parker all scoring in double digits. And in the second game with the men, it was another high-scoring affair as the Buffs got a 100-98 win over the Lions, this time without overtime. In that game, David Chavovic scored 28 points and Joe Prince scored 24 for a big performance for those two. Then on Saturday, senior day for both teams as Tarleton State came into town for the regular season finale. Lady Buffs getting a big 73-69 win over the Texans on that afternoon, with a career-high 22 points being scored by Lily Vanderzee. Then the men with a big game winning 74-65 over Tarleton State, with David Chavovic, Ryan Quaid, and Joseph Prince all scoring in double digits.
I think it was 2 big home games for us, 2 big conference games. I liked the way we played, I liked the way that we came out. Tarleton State, we finally got some stops late to create a little bit of separation in that game to walk away from the win. But anyway, home on the road at this time of the year is big. And, I thought that we took care of business, and especially for those seniors on that last night, of allowing them to, have a little time to be honored and to get their final win on the home court. Lily's playing really well right now with a lot of confidence, finishing around the basket. I think what we saw a little bit on Saturday was her versatility around the basket, scoring left, right, just a little bit of more mobile than what we've seen her, and she has that capability, and we just got to continue to see that night in and night out from her.
To get those last 2 wins was big. Go 15-0 at home for the season and knock off 2 teams that are in the top 5 in the region was big for us. That's going to bode well for the conference tournament. Hopefully it gives us some momentum getting into the LSC tournament that starts on Friday for us, Thursday for the other teams. Yeah, you hit it right on the head. Ryan's been really good. He started 16 games, I think, for us as a freshman. He's only 19 years old. He's very young. He's someone that, I would have liked to have redshirted. He wanted to play right away, and he had a nice season last year as a freshman. He's really come on now as a sophomore. When Ryan is healthy, fresh, and ready to go, yeah, he can be a very, very good player for us. And, we're expecting a lot of really good things from him next year as well as the finish of this year. And he's someone that can do it. He can play inside, outside, and he's gotten very good of moving his feet, using his body, and playing defense.
Up next, both Buff and Lady Buff basketball on their way to Allen as we speak, as the Buffs and Lady Buffs will compete in the Lone Star Conference Championship Tournament in the Allen Event Center. Lady Buffs getting the number 3 seed for the tournament, and they will take on Texas Women's, the number 6 seed, on Friday at noon. And the men also in the number 3 seed will be taking on the number 6 seed Texas A&M Kingsville at 2:30.
Really big game. Texas Women is a solid team. The scout always starts with Kanisha Sago. I think she had 35 or so points the other night. She can make or break the team or the game, and she's a game changer, literally. And especially late in games, I think that's when she plays her best. they're going to be a tough team, and they always are, and they're well coached, well prepared. So we're going to have to be ready to battle.
They beat us. They beat Tarleton. They took UTPB to overtime down there. So those are the top 3 teams in the league, and they played really well against those teams. And they've had some good games on the road as well. They're a very well-coached team. They're very disciplined. They're going to slow it down. They're going to want to play in the 50s and 60s, and we got to get that score up in the 70s, 80s, 90s, maybe 100s to more our liking. Yeah, you've got to create your own energy. We've had great fans come over to the LSC tournament in the past, so hopefully they come over to Allen again and really get behind us.
Buffalo baseball getting a little bit more time off than anticipated before their series against Tarleton this weekend, as their game last night against Lubbock Christian actually ended up being postponed until April 4th due to high winds. But coming up this weekend for the Buffs, they will head to Stephenville for a non-conference matchup against Tarleton State in a 4-game series.
Yeah, they're really good. I think they're 10-2 right now, coming off a sweep of Arkansas Fort Smith, a really good team. Tarleton's, I think, one of the best teams in the region this year. Their coaches do a really good job there, so expect a battle. This is probably one of their most talented team I'm hearing, and but I like the team that we're going in with as well. So I think it's going to be 4 really tough games that'll probably be decided between 1 or 2 runs.
Lady Buff softball off to a solid start to conference play, as Texas Women's coming into town last weekend, where the Lady Buffs got a solid 3-game sweep. Out of the 3 games played on the weekend, 0 of them saw anything past the 5th inning, as the Lady Buffs ended up winning by scores of 20-1, 16-1, and 12-0.
Yeah, we had talked quite a bit about how we ended up non-conference and some of the disappointments we had the last week out in Tucson, and we knew we had to get off to a good start in LSC play. We had a couple of real good attitude practices last week on Tuesday and Wednesday, and worked hard on some things, and Thursday was a real sharp prep day. So I felt like we'd done everything we needed to do to be ready, and we just talked about coming out and playing with a chip on our shoulder, and I thought the girls did a great job of that Friday night. It was cold. It was less than conducive environment for us to play in to open conference play, and put up a ton of runs, and Kylie threw really well, and came out Saturday and started off the same way, and it kind of steamrolled all through the day. So it was a great start to conference play. Now we have to go on the road and play with the same intensity.
Up next for the Lady Buffs, they'll hit the road, also going to Stephenville to take on Tarleton State in a conference matchup for their 3-game series.
Well, Tarleton's very good. They're much better. They've got a first-year coach, and Mark's doing a great job with them, and they're offensive. May not be as power-oriented as we are, but they can create runs. They've got decent team speed, pretty good pitching staff too. So it's a place we haven't played in a few years. 2 years ago we were snowed out down there, so it's been like 4 years since we've played in Stephenville, and it's always been a tough place to play. I know they'll be ready for us, and we've got to have another good week of preparation going in and make sure that we continue to play at a high level, because that's what we're going to have to do every weekend.
Lady Buff Equestrian with a solid weekend as they hosted the Western Regional Championship here at the WTAMU Horse Center. 5 different Lady Buffs ended up finishing atop their respective events twice on the weekend, helping the team win its 11th consecutive regional title. Up next, the Lady Buffs will be on the road this weekend, heading to Texas Tech for the Hunt Regional Championship. Folks, we'd like to thank you for joining us this week on Heard That. To keep up with all your favorite Buff and Lady Buff sports, just head over to GoBuffsGo.com and come back here every Wednesday for Heard That. For the WT Sports Network, I'm Zach Barnes. We'll see you next time.